Welcome to the Draftkings main slate week 6 first look show. I say it every week. This is my favorite show of the week. I love getting to see the pricing for the first time. It's very difficult for me not to want to look at this on Monday nights when I get the notification that your lineup is ready to draft, because now my wheels get to start turning officially, and I'm just going to think all day about what I want to do with the pricing that is available. So let's jump right into this thing. Georgia taking on Kentucky, 48.5 over under, 35 for Georgia, 14 for Kentucky. Probably going to be able to just flat out ignore the Wildcats in this one. This is a slate where you're going to see a lot of teams that you can flat out ignore, and then a lot of teams that you can flat out stack and get behind. So it's going to be a very interesting slate here. Fun ways to build. Gunnar Stockton coming in at 8,200. Really did not have a very good game last week against Alabama. Pretty much a pretty disappointing outing. I did expect him to be able to throw the football a little bit better. They stopped with the vertical pass game. They did feature it against Tennessee. Kind of surprising that they got away from it against Alabama. Maybe it was because they were able to run the football. They ended up just going very east-west. Really wanted to see some shots down the field. Kind of just didn't want to do it, I guess. Boley, no shot. I'm not touching Kentucky's quarterback situation. They have been absolutely abysmal. Seth McGowan for Kentucky is probably the only playable piece at 5,100, though. I think you're going to struggle to want to get there. He has played fairly well, but we know South Carolina is an easy team to run on. Played a good bit of him last week. And then Ole Miss, not a difficult matchup from the rush standpoint. Toledo, maybe the toughest run defense they've faced all season in theory. So, yeah, I would say he's like on the very fringe of the pool at best. Bowens, he took over this backfield last week. I don't know that he's not in play. He played fabulous against Alabama. I think he messed up their game plan in theory of chucking it. He played so well. Now, he played terrible against Tennessee. So what does that say? I don't know. That's interesting because Fluff absolutely dominated Tennessee for Mississippi State last week. Nate Frazier, he's been fine. He wasn't very great. Like I don't know, man. It's the fumbles, dude. The fumbles. He keeps fumbling. He just can't hold on to the football. Can't trust him. So I'm out on Frazier. I might be able to consider Bowens. Might. We'll see. Kobe Young playing pretty well last week. He's just been pretty consistent target. At 6K, his upside's not there. I'm probably out on that. Zach Branch, I will be in on at 48. He'll be in the pool, the initial pool right now. His upside is just through the roof. He could break one off at any point in time. And then no shot I'm playing any of the Kentucky guys. Probably not going to play any. I wouldn't play any of the Georgia guys below that. So realistically, Zach Branch, Bowens, maybe McGowan, and that's it from this game. This game's pretty ugly. Maybe you get there with Georgia, but I think there's a chance Georgia just scores on defense or special teams, which would be a Zach Branch way to score. Interesting total in this one. I think this one has game stack potential, I guess, based on the Vegas total. I don't know that I would get there. 62.5 in Baylor, Kansas State. 34.5 Baylor, 28 points for Kansas State. How Kansas State scoring 28, I don't know. They stink. They've stunk all year. But Avery Johnson at 7,600, I can't do it. He maybe could get there, but man, he can't throw the ball. He's nothing what anybody thought he was. He ran the ball fairly well last week. 75 yards on the ground, by far and away his best game of the season. But that's against UCF, and it's at home. So, I don't know, man. This ain't Sam Levitt. I don't know. Sawyer Robertson had a monster game last week at 10-1. He was a tough click. I think that had more to do with the fact that Bryson Washington got hurt in the first half of that game, made them lean a little bit more on the arm of Sawyer Robertson. Probably would have been smart if I would have taken shots there. He had 5 touchdowns, just absolutely dominated Oklahoma State. No surprise there. Bryson Washington, let's see what the news says. Yeah, see, they're not even featuring this. They didn't even say it. He left after the first half of this game. So he had 10 carries for 77 yards and a touchdown early in the game. And I kind of feel cheated out of probably another 80 yards and a touchdown because the game script set up really well for him. There's no way he ever would have ended this game with 10 touches, given the score, if he wasn't hurt and left the game early. They just got bad news outlets. They don't pay attention to the games. 8,200 if he's fully available, fully healthy. Very fair price here for Bryson Washington. He would have scored. He would have been a perfect guy to pair with Jeremiah Love last week. But if he would have stayed healthy, we would have had something there. I'm not paying $7,500 for Dylan Edwards. I get it. Like, he had a great game last week, 75 yards though. That means he had 19 for 91. He's just not been healthy. Maybe last week was a turning point. I just can't pay that price. It's just too much for him. Joe Jackson, he's been terrible. Full ignore there. If Bryson Washington's out, it's very clear that Caden Knighton is the top guy behind him. He didn't even get a ton of work last week. So it's very questionable. I think Turner got most of the work in the second half. Michael Turner might end up being in play at 3K. It's just going to be a lot of deciding who's healthy, who's not. If Washington's out, I think you go even heavier into the Sawyer Robertson bucket. Jace Brown was out last week, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. They're saying he's going to be available. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know on that one. 7,600 is a hefty price tag to pay for a guy that's not really a 100-yard receiver. He's more of like an explosion, needs explosives to pay out. So I don't think I'd be paying that. No shot I'm paying 68 for Michael Trigg. I'd rather pay for Josh Cameron at 67. No doubt about it. He's just a better player than Trigg. I know Trigg has touchdowns, but the 100 yards are not there. The explosive game is there for Cameron more so. Ashton Hawkins, Cole Wilson. Cole Wilson just keeps popping up out of nowhere every once in a while. Like he did it in this week, week 1. He did it last week. He was popping up. I don't know. Hawkins, like they just rotate wide receivers. You're playing roulette. The only guy you can kind of trust is 3,700 Kobe Prentice. Comes out of nowhere and scores touchdowns every week. You know, in the 1 week he didn't, he had his most catches. So I think Prentice has to be in the pool for you as a value option, no doubt about it. And something that I am working on is play the studs on the slate and not worry about price, and I'll go find value when I need to. So like Prentice, very good value option. Play him at 3,700. Oakley, don't mind that as a shot play at 3,400. If they need to throw the ball more, the ball will go to Oakley. Double digits in 2 of the games. He's got a touchdown last week. I think he's fine as a touchdown or bust play there. But like that's what I'm kind of trying to work on in my process is get more comfortable just being like, screw it. I'm going to play these guys. I think they score the most points on the slate. I'm going and getting them. All right. This game is an interesting one. I think this one can shoot out. I also think that I'm nervy about it. Iowa State heading to Cincinnati, 52.5, 27-point projection for Iowa State, 25.5-point projection on Cincinnati. 6,100 Rocco Beck's far too cheap. I will be playing this, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I know I'm a Rocco Beck homer. I have no problem admitting that. The reason why I feel better about it is based off of last week's game. Now, I know he had the 3 rushing touchdowns, and that kind of buoyed his performance to get to the 25 points. It was Chase Soul becoming a reliable option in the pass game that made me really like this. At this price, depending on what Chase Soul's price tag is, I'm going to go right back to the well of Rocco Beck, Chase Soul stacks. 6,100. I like, especially after this Cincinnati defense got absolutely obliterated by the Kansas pass offense and what Jalen Daniels was able to do. I get Rocco at 1,000 cheaper. I'll take Rocco in that spot. It's impossible not to like Sorsby. If you're going to attack this Iowa State defense, it's through the air. It's on the back end. The front seven's good. We're going to need to monitor the status of Big Orange, Dominique Orange, Big Juice, I think they call him. He was banged up last week, but Sorsby's been a revelation. I don't think you can not play some Sorsby as well. I think that makes for a very interesting game stack here. Underrated one for sure. Carson Hansen, I'm not playing at 6,500 in this specific matchup. LaShawn Williams ran pretty good, but his efficiency numbers were terrible for Carson Hansen. 6,500 is a tough price tag to swallow. I preferred him on FanDuel last week. His touchdown equity is good. His yardage prop's going to be bad. Tyree Walker found the end zone last week twice. Do I want to go back there? Not particularly. Like I said, I like the Iowa State front seven. I'm out on Abu Sama. Evan Pryor was highly efficient last week, but I'm probably out there. All right. Wide receiver wise, Cyrus Allen's 5,700 for good reason after the game he had last week. He's clearly the top option in this offense. I don't hate that at 5,700. He's definitely the best option to stack with. Oh, buddy. All right, so remember how I said you could fit all your studs and then just try to get a cheap value option? Here's your cheap value option. So what I will say is, I thought originally from the Iowa State game in Dublin against Kansas State, right? I liked Chase Soul a lot coming into that game. There was multiple times where he was on the field and I thought he ran the wrong route. And I thought that's what he just wasn't comfortable with the offense. Now it's kind of coming out that Matt Campbell says Chase Soul was banged up heading into the season during fall camp. And now he's finally healthy, yada, yada. He's gelling in the system. Well, that 4-catch, 146-yard game last week, he looked dang good. So I think we're going to see that a lot going forward. Rocco has struggled because he didn't have that weapon to deal with, and Eskildson had to do it. He relied heavily on the tight ends, Ben Bramer, Gabe Burkle early in the season. Line up the bags. I'm playing Chase Soul a lot at 3,200. I don't hate Jeff Caldwell at 3,500. He's your deep threat, can catch a bomb at any point. He's a big boy, too. Caleb Goody, perfectly fine option at 3,600. There's just a bevy of options. Ben Bramer in play. He's more of like a hope for a touchdown type guy. I love this Soul play, though. Eskildson, another good deep target for them. Townsend, I'm not in on. He's just not getting the volume. Man, this is a fun game, and it's cheap. Overby was early on the kind of the guy taking that Soul role. I really like Soul in this one. I don't hate Goody in this one, and I don't mind Cyrus Allen at all. Love the quarterbacks. I think the pass game options are fabulous in this one. That's fun. That's a great price tag on Chase Soul. Love that. He's going to feature a lot. Clemson versus Bill Belichick. So talk about two teams struggling. 46.5 total in this one. Just makes you want to throw up. 30-point projection for Clemson, 16.5 for the Tar Heels. Can't play a Tar Heels quarterback. Maybe. Do you really want to do it? I mean, you can. Like $8K, it's still a hefty price tag, but I think he's in the pool for this one. Adam Randall at 66, 1,000% in the pool. He's actually playing good. He's getting all the volume. For a workhorse back at 66, you're going to be hard-pressed not to want to go there. There's just nobody else around him. What's up, Jay Whitty? I'm not going to play a UNC running back. No, thank you. I don't trust them. Bryant Wesco at 73, always in the pool. He's the best player on the team or, on the offense. I love getting Randall and Wesco in teams. 7,300, fair price. I'm not playing TJ Moore at 63. I won't play Antonio Williams at 78. Like, sure, they could get there, but Wesco's a better bet for a similar price tag. I'd much prefer those guys if they were far lower. If you were going to play a UNC pass catcher, it's Jordan Shipp. He's the number one option. It's not saying a lot, though. I just don't think I would get to him. I'm like, why? What's the upside? Chase Soul, much better option. Yes, sir. Have a good day. All right. Illinois, Purdue. 55.5 total in this one. 32.5 Illinois, 23 Purdue. This one's got game stack written all over it. Altmaier, far too expensive at that price. Far, far too expensive. I know he hung a 40 burger on USC. This is not the type of game where Altmaier is going to throw a 40 burger up. He's more of like a 25 in this one. I won't be playing Altmaier at 83. I don't dislike Ryan Brown at 66. He's in the pool 100% because of the rushing upside. Last year in this exact game was the one where Ryan Brown went 100 on the ground and had an absolute nuclear performance. He's in play at 6,600, no doubt about it. Caden Fagan, meh, not really that interested. Even Lawfrey, not that interested. Fagan, really, it was the long that touchdown got called back, didn't it? Yeah, but he had the long touchdown. Maybe that was the run, the catch. The perils of watching 97 games at one time. They're just mixing and matching all of these guys in. Maccabee gets all the work for them, but can you really? I mean, maybe you could convince me to play Maccabee. He'll be in the pool. BD 54, I like that price, and I like this Michael Jackson price at 36. He's the perfect stack partner for Ryan Brown. Have no issues getting there. I like BD. And then, like we talked about last week, I got asked about Hudson Clement. I said go Bowick. Bowick scores touchdowns. He scored another touchdown. Bowick's a touchdown machine. If you were punting, you can go Bowick, but I don't love that. Realistically, I would try to go probably more of a skinny stack of Beatty with Michael Jackson and Ryan Brown. Colin Dixon, don't hate either. If you want to get a little piece there, you could switch off of Beatty to Dixon. No problems with that. We got Wisconsin, Michigan. There's really one play in this game for me. 42.5 total, lowest on the slate. Michigan going to dominate these guys. 29.5 point team total for them. Wisconsin with a 13-point team total. I will not touch a Wisconsin Badger. No doubt about it. Bryce Underwood comes in at 6,900. Nice. I just don't see how you play him. Like, yes, the upside was there in the 114-yard rushing game, but the attempts are limited. It's just the likelihood is he's in the 18-point range, and there's so many guys that are better options than Underwood. This is going to be your top running back play of the week. It's not a question. He just keeps ripping these freaking 75-yard touchdowns off, and I refuse to not play the man. He's going to get you 100 yards on the ground. He's going to get you a touchdown on the ground. He's got upside for more. I'll play Justice Haynes. I'll continue playing Justice Haynes, even at 8K. It's no problem to play him. Just plug and play. I can't not do it. Marshall, his price tag's getting a little bit better now at 4,900 that you could consider him. Otherwise, out on the Wisconsin backs, that's for sure. I just don't see how you can play and justify any of the Michigan wideouts. I wouldn't play any of the receiving options for Wisconsin. Just the upside's not there. They're cheap, though. Like, if you got to that point and you were like, hey, I've already used all my guys, maybe. But I just don't see a reason. Even McCulley, like, look at the upside of these guys. There isn't any. Samaj Morgan, no upside. There's nothing there. This whole game is literally Justice Haynes or nothing. That's the game for me right there. Arizona, Oklahoma State. We've got 55.5 over under on this one. I kind of like Oklahoma State to cover. 38-point projection on Arizona State. That's hefty. 17.5 for Oklahoma State. I don't know, man. I think Oklahoma State's a live dog in this one. Zane Flores absolutely is awful. There's no doubt about it. Maybe he could turn it around in this one. 5,900 cheap. I don't know how I can pay 8,800 for Fafita in this one. That's just too much. That's just far too much for me to pay. I'm out there. Ishmael Mahdi got to be firmly in play at 6,100. He's 100% got to be in play. He's the full-time back at this point, taking over more of the lion's share of the work. That is a solid game against that Iowa State front seven, given how they got manhandled up front. I think Mahdi's definitely got to be in the pool. Hicks reportedly might be back this week. I like Fields. Fields is very versatile out of the backfield. He was a value option for me last week against Baylor. I think he's well in play, no doubt about it, against Arizona, especially at 4,200. He seems to be the top value option so far going into this week. We haven't seen everybody. Trent Howland got a ton of work last week as well. Maybe he could be considered in the pool at 38. And then Riscano is we're going to have to see when he comes back. He wasn't on the injury report for the game against Iowa State, but I don't know. I think this is Mahdi's team. You look at Mahdi, and he's in play. I don't mind Fields, and I don't mind Howland, given the relative roles in the backfield. Hunter, Hudson, and Watley, they all just kind of mix and match. Watley's been more of the possession guy. Hudson scored last week. I don't know. Like this, they just spread it so weirdly. It could be anybody up that top three. I don't mind Watley's price at 4K. It's pretty fair. They can't. Oklahoma State just cannot throw the football. So I'm out there. I think it's pretty much, I guess I'm talking myself out of taking the points with Oklahoma State, but I think they can run the football enough, maybe. I don't know. There's some decent plays at running back in that one, price tag wise. This is a fun game stack. I think there's a lot of ways this could play out. So 64.5 total, highest on the slate. We're going to hear that a lot from Notre Dame. 41.5 projected points for Notre Dame, 23 for Boise State. CJ Carr's far too expensive. I can't get there. Not in this one. Maddox Madsen at 62. If you think they're chasing and they're going to score, Madsen probably in play at 62. That's not an unreasonable price tag there. Jeremiah Love clocking in at 9,800. Whew. So that's a nervy price to pay. I think it's in play. Jadarian Price, worth paying for at 58 now, though. So the price differential has gotten to the point that you can do it. Remember, this went from 85 last week on Love. Yeah, it was 85 last week. 9K, 85. He's been pretty much 85 to 9K. Whereas Price has been 63 and 67. Now we're starting to see that spread out a little bit more. Now we've got 58 to 98. So now we got a 4K spread here. I think Price is in play at 58. Love is 100% has to be in play at 98. Sire Gaines has fallen by the wayside to an extent. I do not think he's the top back in that room anymore. Dylan Riley has definitely taken over more of the lion's share. He had a monster game against Air Force. I think Riley's probably in play to an extent. Malik Sherrod has a role in this backfield. It's very much so a spread out backfield. Who's going to get the lion's share? It's any given week, but I think I would be willing to take more shots on Riley than anybody else if I was going to take shots. No shot I'm playing Latrell Caples at 64. It's just he's too much of the possession wide receiver. I don't like Faison personally, but 4,900, not really my cup of tea. 4,500, I don't dislike Matt Lauder. He's a safety blanket. They're going to end up using him. Matt Fields at 38. Like, give me all the Fields at 38 over Faison at 49. So I don't mind that whatsoever. Marshall, I like at 36. I'm more than happy to pay that for him. He's more their outside wide threat. That's kind of where I would be. Maybe Ford, maybe Ben Ford, but I'm not super interested there. I prefer Marshall. Personally, for me, it would be Marshall and Fields as the top pass catching options in this game. They're very cheap. They're very affordable. I think you can get them. You can get a game stack in this thing really easily with Love. You could play Love and Price, to be fair, but Love, Fields, Marshall, no problem with any of those plays. Madsen, I think, is a solid play. I think Madsen with Lauder and Marshall is a good shout, and then bring it back with Fields, Love, Price. You could even get one of the running backs in there if you wanted with Dylan Riley. There's plenty of salary there to make all that work. You can lock in all kinds of stuff there in that game. Speaking of game stacks, Vanderbilt and Bama, 56.5 over under, 33 for Alabama, 23.5 for Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's been putting up a ton of points so far this year. They put up a ton. They haven't played too many good teams, but they've been putting up a lot of points. Bama's humming all cylinders. 71 Pavia, 73 Simpson. I probably slightly prefer Simpson in this one at 73. Slightly, I'll say. I think he's more likely to throw for 300 and get the bonus with multiple touchdowns. 25 to 30 points feels inevitable. So he's right in that 4X range. Simpson's a very tasty price tag there. Pavia has been on an absolute tear, but they've been just wrecking points against, the likes of South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Charleston Southern, Georgia State, Utah State. But he's putting up numbers, and they're there. So, and he's going to need to run the football in this one. Can he put up enough is the question. I don't think 300 yards passing's in the books, but I think he could approach the 100-yard rushing mark, and that's where he's going to need to be to keep them in this game. This is a fun game stack. If you're game stacking it, you play both, no doubt about it. I'm avoiding Jam Miller. I just don't trust him, especially coming off an injury. I think the other backs in that backfield aren't great. Cedric Alexander, it's a good back for them, but I don't know that I'll get there. Don't love that. Seems like they've been turning a little bit more to an explosive McKylan Young. Can't trust that. Look at the touch volume. No shot I'm paying for that. It's just wonky. They're going to rely on Pavia in this one. No doubt about it. Ryan Williams is priced too much more than Jeremy Bernard. He shouldn't be, as I always say. Jeremy Bernard is equally, from a fantasy perspective, if not better, than Ryan Williams on a week-to-week basis. If I was playing one, I play Bernard. It's not close. I don't have any problems playing Williams if you want to double stack Ty Simpson in this one. If you want to single stack him, if you want to pair Horton in there, Horton does not necessarily hear a who. He gets a touchdown, but it's a touchdown he needs in order to pay off at period. So I'm kind of out on Horton as much. I prefer Bernard if I was going to single stack Simpson, no doubt about it. If you're going to stack Stowers, it gets interesting. If you're going to stack, Pavia, man. I was going to say Pavia there, and I said Stowers, but I like Eli Stowers. He just kind of hasn't played that same full-time role as before. Junior Sherrill is meh. I know he caught 3 touchdowns last week. He's just meh. I'm not the biggest Junior Sherrill guy. Richardson's played well. I prefer Richardson probably out of the bunch. He's been a little bit more explosive on the outside. They're designing touches for him. I kind of like him with Stowers. Either of them is fine. At those price tags, you can get both. You can go full game stack here very easily. I don't know that I would throw a running back in this one because of the mobility of the quarterbacks. I think I might even go upwards of 4 wide receivers with both quarterbacks and then just fill in the 2 running back spots with your big time running backs in this one. But yeah, that's kind of where I would be at right now. I would rank them probably Stowers 1, Richardson 2 for the Vandy guys, but they're closer than you would expect because Stowers just has such a good connection with Pavia that he looks for him. That's a fun game though. That's a game stack, guaranteed. We'll have that. Looking at Texas and Florida, talk about a game that's going to be underwhelming. 44.5 point total. 25.5 for Texas, 19 for Florida. I'd take the under on that 19 for Florida. Arch Manning's 9K. I don't like it. Still don't like it. I don't know. I want to buy into it. I just can't in this spot. This game just feels like a nasty, grinded out game. Don't love it. I don't think I'll play very much, if any, Arch at 9K. Lagway, I'm no way in the world I'm touching it at 64. He's just been absolutely abysmal all season. You're going to want to monitor the health of Wisner here. He's progressing well. I think he had a hamstring issue. We're going to have to wait and see. So I've heard hamstrings. We're going to have to wait and see here. If he's back and Baxter isn't, Baxter's on track to return. He had his own hamstring issue. If they both return, I don't love this. If one returns, I have more interest. Neither returns, I don't mind going to Jarrett Gibson. That's kind of where we're at with this. It's a health factor, but a Sark number 1 running back you got to like. If they both come back, they're probably both limited. They both split touches. Don't love it. Jaden Ball is the best playmaker on Florida. He just doesn't get any help. He can get there on just pure receiving volume. Maybe he breaks a long run. He's got to be in the pool just because from a talent perspective, but he's the only guy in that backfield that's worth mentioning. Ryan Wingo's priced too far up. I'm not going to touch him at 7,500. He had a good 2 touchdown week, but they just made sure he scored. Like they've done that the last 2 weeks where they just forced the ball to him and just go get a touchdown, get a touchdown, get a touchdown. It's not there, man. Don't play Ryan Wingo at 7,500. He's not worth it. Don't play Eugene Wilson at 6,100. He's not worth it. Jack Injuries. No, thank you at 5,100. I would far rather play Vernell Brown at 4,700 than Eugene Wilson at 6,100. He's more talented at this point right now. I do like Eugene Wilson as a player. They're just not utilizing him based on the name value by comparison. If I was going to play any of the Texas guys, I like Livingstone at 43. He's still worth the price tag. He's still too cheap. DeAndre Moore, I also would not hate playing at 42. These guys, they both have upside. Mosley, I just don't think they're going to end up using Mosley. I think he's just a luxury for them. Hogan Hanson's been getting a little bit of target volume, but I'm probably out there. It's ugly. It's very ugly. Aiden Mizell looks to have returned. That's interesting. So he's come back, but don't like it. Realistically, Vernell Brown's the only guy I would even consider playing, but I'm probably out completely on the Florida pass offense. Texas, I don't hate shots on Moore or Livingstone because they can both get there, no doubt about it. I'm going to save that game because I actually like it. All right. Penn State, UCLA. Good Lord, UCLA sucks. Do not play a UCLA player. Not worth it. Nico sucks. Ignore Nico Iamaleava. He just does not exist. He might as well be Malachi Nelson at this point. 13-point projection for UCLA. Full ignore. Penn State, 37.5-point projection. They're in play. Drew Aller still sucks, not playing him at 8,500, especially on the road here. I much rather would, oh my goodness. All right, give me all of the Katron Allen at 5,700. He outproduced Nick Singleton last week. He was the clear option, the best option. I think he gets rewarded this week. He's been a very solid, consistent player. He's a very good price tag at 5,700. I think he gets you about 3x. He's very safe play. Is the upside there? Maybe not. I think that Nick Singleton's going to go heavily under-owned at 8,400, but he does have the ability, not saying he will, I'm just saying he's probably going to end up being a GPP option for me because he has the ability to go 10 for 180. Like he could take two carries for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns and he gets there. But it's just, he's going to have to hit an explosive. So it's a risky play. But Katron Allen's a great play at 5,700, no doubt about it. Quasi Gilmer, he sucks. I thought he was going to be good coming into the season. He's just not. There's nothing there. Nothing to see here. It happens when your quarterback does anything. Kyron Hudson was a disappearing act last week. He had 0 touches. Don't even notice that he was on the field. Trevor Pena, paid a lot of money for him to do a whole lot of nothing last week. He rushed the football a little bit. Maybe you could say he's in play this week. Maybe. But he's a little expensive for me to get there. No shot on the tight ends. I just don't think Luke Reynolds is great. Devontae Ross deserves to get a lot more work after he just absolutely was the best wide receiver for them with the 2 touchdowns late in the game to keep them in it. Otherwise, that's just a pitiful offense. It's mainly the 2 running backs, but really Katron Allen's clear top option there as far as by price. Singleton, he could get there, but it's tough. Drew Aller stinks. All right. This has game stack written all over it. I game stacked both of these games last week that these teams played in. My best team was a game stack with Louisville, oddly enough, because and I game stacked the crap out of Cincinnati. I had the perfect stack too. I had the Cincinnati Louisville Kansas game. I had it perfectly stacked and just still. But yeah, so Louisville, Virginia, 62.5 over under, 34.5 Louisville, 28 Virginia. The only concern I have with Virginia in this one is coming off of that huge win, an emotional win. Is it a letdown? Because I think this game has a very good shootout potential. I hope it shoots out. It just, the only nervousness I have is, can Virginia hold up their end of the bargain? I'm going to bet they can. Chandler Morris, too cheap at 6,700. Eli Holstein put up good numbers on Louisville last week. Both these teams have kind of struggled to run the football. I think Miller Moss is too expensive at 7,900. I'm probably not going to want to get here. He's too expensive. At 5,700 last week, he was a tasty price tag. It was worth taking shots, even though a lot of the experts, not me, but experts, said he's just not good. There's no upside. Well, his upside was 32 points last week. He ran for a touchdown, threw for three, threw for over 300 yards. He has upside, but not at 7,900. That's a tough price tag to swallow. I don't like that. So I probably will end up playing it as Morris and then the concentrated weapons for Louisville more so than a double quarterback run for me. I don't like Jamori Taylor. That's too much for me. I don't think he can pay that off. Isaac Brown's going to be interesting. He played, he got carries, he got a lot of work, but he didn't do anything with it. They can run the football on UVA. I think Isaac Brown's worth taking shots at 6,700. Duke Watson was clearly limited to an extent last week. He wasn't explosive either. Nobody could run the ball on Pitt. Maybe you take shots there. I don't know. That's weird. Xavier Brown, no thank you. Harrison Whaley, no thank you. I'm just kind of out on the UVA backfield in this sense because of the mobility of Chandler Morris. I don't mind playing a Louisville running back, though, in my game stacks for sure. Chris Bell probably needs to be in your if you're game stacking, Chris Bell needs to be in it. I did play Chris Bell in that game stack. It worked out great. Colin Lacey probably needs to be involved as well because he's going to be a target merchant to an extent. I don't think you have to play both. If you're playing Miller Moss, I would play both because he's going to need two guys to get there. And there's not really a third option. They really just lean on Bell and Lacey. What has Dakari Collins done? Yeah, he's been there, but maybe you could find a guy. I really want this to be a thing. I love Trayshawn Hurry. I think he was great at San Jose State. I think he would have been their number one wide receiver had he stayed there. Jaleel Skinner, tight end. He's just not going to get the volume. I think you got to go with the top two options there. If I'm playing Morris, I want Trell Harris. He's just got a massive ceiling. He just needs to find the end zone more. Cam Ross, no problems playing Cam Ross with him as well. No problems playing Adrien either. He was getting some decent amount of work last week at 3,500. So there's plenty of options on the UVA side. If you want to take shots, I would lean towards those top three wide receivers, though, if I was going to take shots there, for sure. Because otherwise it's like tight ends and guys that don't get work, don't get the targets. So, yeah, I think you stick to those top three, mix and match how you want, depending how you feel, or what you need. So, yeah, so you can get there. Overall, though, I think it's a fun slate. I think it'll be fun to build for. I'm trying to get more on the game stack train and get better at that and play that and more confident playing that on the in this tournament, the 50K tournament, because that's where my best teams are going to come from. That's why I was workshopping it in the lower dollar stuff. But top game stacks right out the gate are UVA Louisville, love that game stack. Illinois Purdue, love that one. Bama Vandy, love that one. Notre Dame Boise, I like. And then Baylor, Kansas State is kind of in the pool of game stacks because of the total. I probably need to add Iowa State, Cincinnati now that I've seen the pricing. I love that Chase Soul price tag. That stands out immediately. I think that's a great buy low option. I think he comes in under-owned relative to his capability. So I will be back tomorrow talking the FanDuel first look. I'm not going to look at it. I like taking the first glance, getting a feel for it. I'll start building some stuff probably here in a minute, just trying to get my first ideas. I like to build a few things before I get projections in and start looking through it. And then I will have the underrated game of the week. I'm going to edit that here in a minute, and I will have that up today. It's a good G5 game. Be a fun one to watch this week, no doubt about it. So I will see you guys the rest of the week.